Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are going to take a look at the revamped Super Strike mission. So we're going to take a look at the event, the Mysterious Mask, and how it's been changed and revamped with the very first global Super Strike unit awakening. So Super Strike units were free-to-play units that would pop up different ones on every single day, and essentially those units could be Z-awakened. They had a max SA level of 15, and for the most part they were pretty stock standard units. Now they've been revamped obviously to bring them into the current meta, so they have a Dokkan awakening. They also have an EZA as well. And the unusual thing about them is that their EZA obviously raises their SA to 20, which is something quite interesting and that we haven't seen before. And so we'll take a look at how well the unit does. Now, there are 4 stages to this event, so it's had 2 new stages added. The third stage features the medals for the Dokkan awakening of Mighty Mask, and the final stage features his EZA. To get a lot of his medals, there are challenges involved for beating the stage in less than 5 turns, for beating the stage with an all Androids team, for beating the stage with a team that features Android 18 and features obviously Mysterious Mask or Mighty Mask. There's also one for finishing both phases, and those will help you a lot in getting the medals. But if you can't complete the challenges, you can just repeat stage 4 continuously. Stage 1 drops the actual character, stage 2 drops the medals to awaken that character to SSR, stage 3 drops the medals for the Dokkan awakening, and stage 4 drops the EZA medals. The EZA medals, you get a collection of them for every single item along the pathway, and you'll see that when we get to stage 4. And stage 4 itself is 3 phases. So the thing here is you start as an SR unit, you can awaken that unit to an SSR, you can then Dokkan awaken that unit, and then you can finally EZA that unit. So it's a little bit different to the usual unit counts because it's got 15 SA, but it's basically just augmented by 5. Also from the missions you receive 9 copies of the SSR unit, so you don't have to farm that many medals or anything like that. So how it's going to work pretty much is basically what you're going to have to do is you need to farm in total 14 copies of the SR unit for your base copy. The reason being is essentially you need to, sorry, not 14, 15 copies of the SR unit. So you need 10 copies for your original, and then you will need 5 for the second copy. You're going to take the base SR, raise it to SA level 10, and then you're going to awaken it to SSR, and then you're going to first unlock 1 root of its hidden potential, then you're going to raise its SA to 15, and then that will give you all the copies from the missions, and you will be able to have a full base unit. The second copy you will Z-awaken and then Dokkan awaken as normal. So in total you need 15 copies of the Mighty Mask unit, you require 14 of the SSR medals, and you need 20 of the Dokkan awakening medals. That's it. Farm all of those and you'll be more than fine. The first unit you need to make its SA 10. You need to Dokkan awaken that unit, but first, before Dokkan awakening it, you want to obviously raise its SA to 15, and you want to hidden potential it. Then you can Dokkan awaken it, and then you're done. The second copy, you will use the remaining copies left to raise its SA to 5, and you will just Z-awaken and Dokkan awaken that copy. That will be the material copy that we use for when we EZA the unit. If you skip to the last 3 minutes of the video, I go through this process again when I actually do it myself. So if you are a little bit confused, you should be fine. So from this first stage, you need to run this stage and you need to farm 14 copies of the unit. Why do you need 14? Because you get 1 SR copy from the missions. So farm 14 copies from here and you will get 1 copy from the mission itself. This first stage, pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. You essentially just follow the map and you eventually get to the end, you beat the boss, and then you move on. Maybe you'll farm some links here, I guess, but beyond that, it's pretty straightforward. You can just auto battle it. There's nothing too crazy here. There is a World Tournament category bonus, so to maximize how often you do anything, or to just maximize everything, you obviously want to run as many World Tournament units for stages 1, 2, and 3. You don't want to run World Tournament units in stage 4, we'll get to that, it's a separate story. So yeah, stage 1, not really an issue, pretty straightforward, really simple. You farm the copies of the unit here. You can see we got 3. Remember, you want to use World Tournament units. If you don't have World Tournament units, you can maybe use bonuses or things like that. Those will help you out as well. So you want to farm 14 of these. That's pretty much it. Once you're done with that, you can move on to the next step. That's stage 2, obviously. From stage 2, you're farming the Z Awakening medals. So you need to Z Awaken the unit. That's going to take it from SR to SSR. It's going to raise its max level to 100. It's a very important step because this is going to be the step after you Z Awaken it, where you feed in the hidden potential units and where you raise its SA to 15. So you're going to get 9 copies of this SSR unit from the missions. So make sure that you do those. It's going to be very helpful, and it's going to cut down your farming time a lot. You're not going to have to like awaken 5 additional copies or anything. You will receive copies from the missions. So no need to panic, no need to do anything. All good. You can just move on and you should be fine. So here you go, you've got Mighty Mask here. This one's a lot simpler. You just face Mighty Mask, so there's nothing really too intense here that you're going to go through. You can use the same team you were using, remember, World Tournament units, but nothing too crazy. In terms of the final stage, stage 4, just a heads up on it. You can use any team in the game. There's no restrictions on units, so it is quite challenging actually, comparatively to other events. It's actually, I don't want to say it's super challenging, but it will require a team that can do Dokkan events. It's the same difficulty, if not slightly tougher than standard Dokkan events. So you're definitely going to need to make sure that you have a team that can do that. Now, that's not necessarily an A+ team or anything like that, and you can bring items. So as a new player, if you are struggling, you can utilize items. Those will help you out, but it is important that you are aware that that is definitely part of the process. It's not something you're able to just avoid or anything like that. It is quite challenging. So if you are brand new and you're looking to do this, I would actually suggest rather building a team up to the point where it can do Dokkan events and then coming back, and then you should have a much easier time. So that's stage 2, stage 3. So stage 3 is the first of the 2 new stages. Stage 3 has a 20 stamina cost, and you use stage 3 to farm the medals to Dokkan Awaken your unit. So once your unit has its hidden potential fully done, all 4 paths are opened. Once your unit is at SA 15, you can then Dokkan Awaken them. You will also be Dokkan Awakening a second copy that has SA 5. So you need to Dokkan Awaken your unit then. Do not Dokkan Awaken your unit if they are not with all 4 hidden potential paths open, and if they do not have their SA maxed. If they are not maxed and their 4 hidden potential paths are not open, do not awaken your unit. Do not Dokkan Awaken your unit. It is definitely not something you should be doing. So please make sure that you do not do that before you Dokkan Awaken them. Or sorry, make sure that you do that before you Dokkan Awaken them. Okay, so that is a very important part of the procedure. This Dokkan Medal Awakening event is not too hard. It's not distinctly any harder than any event. You can see here we're not using particularly good units, and we're getting through the event perfectly fine, so you should be more than fine. He doesn't hit particularly hard. This is not a surprisingly difficult event. He can be stunned, he can have his attack lowered, so that does help you out quite a bit. If you are struggling, you can obviously utilize those tool sets to get yourself a bit more into the conversation and a bit better overall. So yeah, you can definitely do that if you are struggling or anything like that. So no problems there. Otherwise, yeah, everything more than straightforward, and stage 3 should be done. You will need 20 of these medals, so you're going to need to farm up to 20 of these medals. You only need 14 of the previous medals, so 20 from stage 3, and you need 14 medals from stage 2. Then you're ready to take on the easy A. So once you've prepped everything, once you have your first unit and your second unit, then you can take on stage 4, which is for the easy A. So it will be very good at this point. Please, you need to check your missions. So checking your missions is going to be the number one thing you want to do. And you can see you would have completed quite a few of them. You can see there are some here, raising the super attack of Mighty Mask, for example, making sure, for example, that we also awaken his hidden potential. All of these steps here are very important, and you need to make sure that you do them, because they're going to give you those additional copies of Mighty Mask that you need. So please make sure that you finish these missions. Pretty much everything up to the easy A missions needs to be done. So everything that's not easy A, the unit, to step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, everything that's not complete the stage under these requirements needs to be done. So I'm going to show you how to beat one of the requirements, and that requirement is using a full Androids team. And I'm going to show you this because doing a full Androids team free to play that can beat the stage is relatively straightforward. So I'm going to do that. In terms of the other challenges, beating the stage within 5 turns and beating the stage with Mighty Mask and Android 18. So to beat the stage within 5 turns, you need quite a strong team. It can be any team, it doesn't have to be specifically Androids or anything else. It just needs to beat the stage within 5 turns. And then of course the Android 18 and Mighty Mask requirement is relatively straightforward. You just have to use a Majin Buu Saga team, but it's going to require you to utilize a Majin Buu Saga team to some extent. So you need to either build that team or build a derivative of that team, maybe with something like the LR Great Saiyaman 1 and 2 Easy A, or you can just more easily use one of the Majin Buu Saga leads, and that's going to be able to help you out and complete that event. So for my team build, I'm going to have the Tech Android 17 alongside the Strength Android 18 future, and they're going to be a very powerful combination. I'm going to float the Android 17 and 18 AGL unit. We're then going to also float the Tech Cell unit. We're going to use the Android 21 as our friend lead, and we're going to use the Android 14 and 15 alongside the Android 13 unit. Now, it is important to note that you can lower Mighty Mask's attack the entire way through. So if you really want to gain control of the fight, you want to lower his attack, and that's why units like Android 14 and 15, that's why Android 21 is a very good Android's lead, because we want units that can lower his attack so that he doesn't hit as hard overall. It is quite a tough stage. All of these units are 100% in the hidden potential system. All of them are easy aid, so it's not necessarily the easiest event. Even the Android 17 and 18 AGL LR requires you to essentially finish like 50 Dokkan events. So none of these units are necessarily easy to get just because they're free to play. So I would highly suggest just doing an event, like just doing an event, I would say that's, or using a team I should say, that is your strongest team, and just clearing the event and rather finishing the under 5 turns challenge, and if possible the all Android challenge, but with just a normal Android's team. Finishing it free to play is probably just harder than actually finishing with a normal team. So yes, this is a free to play team, but it's just to give you an idea of the strength of the event. They are running under an 80% lead and 160% lead, so yeah, it's not necessarily like the easiest situation. Remember that the typings go tech, physical, and then tech again. So the physical phase is nice for us because we are using Android 21, A nice thing about Android 21 is her healing as well. Really helps us out, and just the lowering of attack and defense does really help us out a lot as well. So yeah, this is definitely quite challenging. It will be challenging, especially for new players, and especially for people that don't necessarily, you know, maybe have the best teams. I would say you probably do need to, like I say, bring a team that can at least finish a Dokkan event. If you bring a team that can finish a Dokkan event and you bring some items, you'll be more than fine to complete this stage. And try and prioritize attack lowering. It's going to help you out a lot. Mighty Mask can actually hit pretty decently. It's not like he doesn't hit hard at all. So I would say it definitely does help to bring some mechanisms to help cope with that. Yeah, I'm not saying he's hitting like ESBR or anything like that, but it's definitely a step up, and I think some people, especially new players, can be taken by surprise, you know, if they're not fully prepared for this stage. But yeah, so by the time we take on the final phase, because of the way our team works, we should be pretty prepared. Android 17 and 18 stack, which obviously increases their defense. Android 13 also stacks, which increases its defense, and so overall we shouldn't end up with like too big an issue. Ideally you want to get crits, because that always helps, makes things go a little bit faster, especially when you have low damage. When you have big damage, getting additionals are fine, but when you have low damage, it is a little bit of a problem. And then yeah, ideally Android 21 would have also transformed, which would have helped us out, but I mean, it's not really the end of the world. We get a nice dodge here from Android 18. That is something she can bring to the table, which is obviously great. And then Android 17, you know, because for some reason Mighty Mask isn't proccing his additional super attacks, which is a little bit weird, but I mean, hey, yeah, it is what it is. It's not really a big train smash. So yeah, like I was saying, basically just bring a decent team. That's what it all amounts to. Don't think you can come in here and absolutely waltz the event. It will be a little bit challenging, which I think is fine, considering, you know, it's a new style of event. They're going to be doing the super strike units over a while. I think it's really cool. I think it's great that they are augmenting the super strike units. I think it does help a lot, especially giving us access to more free-to-play options. You know, the ability for new players to come in and pick up someone like a Mighty Mask. Mighty Mask himself isn't really a unit that players are going to summon for. If you think of all the super strike units, a lot of them are TNs, Master Roshis, General Taos, Mighty Masks. They're not Piccolos, they're not necessarily King Cold as well, could be a very interesting one. They're not necessarily Mecha Frieza as well. They're not necessarily units of summon caliber, but giving them really powerful EZAs or nice upgrades through this revamp of their Super Strike missions is going to be something that's great, and it's really going to help out our selection and our pool of units for selection. So for me, I think it's really awesome. I think it's a fantastic new tool for us to utilize, and yeah, if you can try and get on it straight away, it's obviously great. And there's not too much content right now on Dokkan Global, so this does consume quite a bit of stamina. I think it took me about 240 or so stamina just to complete the event. So yeah, it was pretty intense. I wouldn't say it, you know, was impossible or anything, but it was a good time. I actually had a good time, and the boost, the categories, the world tournaments and everything did help make the grind go by pretty fast. The grind portion wasn't that bad. The EZA portion was, you know, also pretty fun. So I would say it was a pretty successful revamp of the event. I think overall it's a really nice touch-up, and you get a whole bunch of stones. There's a lot of stones to earn from this event, especially if you haven't done it before, but there's tons of stones to earn from the missions, especially once you start extremely awakening the unit. So yeah, there's a lot to earn. So as you can see, this is kind of where you should be. Obviously, you should have your unit super attack level 10. You should have all 4 hidden potential powers awakened. We're going to jump back once I've farmed everything, just so I can show you guys how to wrap everything up. and then you should be good to go. Just remember that you get a lot of the easy A medals from the missions, but also that the unit has the standard easy A medals, so 20 bronze, 40 silver, 30 gold, and 30 rainbow. So yeah, once you've done that, everything should be fine. You can't use boosts on the stage 4. So as you can see, I finished all the missions except for easying the unit, so fantastic stuff. We're gonna jump across, and you should have 2 copies. So your one copy, this one here, should be max level, should have a SA 15, and should have all 4 hidden potential paths open. You should have a second copy that has 5 out of 15. Mine is 6 out of 15 just because I ended up with an extra copy. You're going to start easying your main unit. Like I said, you're going to need 20 bronze, 40 silver, 30 gold, and 30 rainbow. And you're going to want to start easying that unit, awakening it and just going through the stages. Nothing too crazy here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So you're going to easy A this unit, you're going to bring them to their max level of 140, and you'll see that their SA level will raise to 20. You'll then train the secondary copy of the unit into this one. So just a reminder, it is going to be in total 14 SR copies. You get 1 from the mission. You will then get 9 SSR copies from the missions as well. You're going to have 1 base copy that you're going to Z Awaken and then Dokkan Awaken eventually, and you're going to have a second copy at SA5 that you're going to Z Awaken and Dokkan Awaken. So just remember that. Obviously you can follow through the video, you can rewind to whatever part you need where I explained each step in detail along with the stage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can see here we're at the final step. This will raise us to a max level of 140. We'll also do our final passive change, and when you train him this time, you see we will feed in the second copy, and if you look carefully, it will raise the SA from 15 to 20. So there we go, pretty straightforward, and that is job done. Once you've done that, you will have completed all of the missions under the Super Strike event. So if we go back, well, obviously we can take a look at Mighty Mask. He's all done, all ready to go for our hidden potential system. We'll talk about that when we review the unit in its own separate video. But obviously, if we take a look at the event itself, all pretty straightforward. The Mysterious Mask event, you can see there, and missions all done. So you can claim these and a nice chunk of stones as well. 8 stones, which is, yeah, pretty good. And that's it. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you need any help. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. So bye.